Alright guys, so welcome to Rapid Pixel Racing Round 12 for the United States Grand Prix. It's gonna be a little bit different this evening with a short qualifying session and then getting into the race due to minor difficulties on getting a server started. So let's see, we already have a few drivers heading out on track, so we'll be seeing some lap times pretty early for this week's race. We're not gonna be doing the traditional 30-minute practice session, then getting into a full qualifying session and then get into the race. It does look a bit cloudy on this occasion here, so let's see how this is going to work out for everyone here. If we're going to have any rain in this session, I'm not sure, but we'll have a look at that in just a bit and see how it goes for everyone here. I'm going to put a few stats up on screen, and let's just get the map up there so we can see exactly what's going on out on track. So everyone is basically going to be on their out lap still, guys. So we're just going to wait until we get some hot laps started, and let's see how fast lap times are about to get happen here. Oh guys, apologies about the disconnection for a second, just setting a few things up. Alright, so we got some lap times in. We got a 133.6 and a 135.3. Asaf and Sot Hojo there. So let's see what other lap times we're going to have come in, as I think a few drivers should be bringing in some lap times here pretty soon as they're on their hot laps going. We got that guy Alex with a 132.4. And I think he's running a new livery for this weekend for his team. So let's see, where is he on the board? Currently on top. Changed the red to a bit of a, I guess a purple to a pink sort of color. It does look very cloudy. I'm really wondering if it's going to be raining on this session or not. Not sure as yet, but it does seem fine. Maybe just a bit cloudiness throughout the qualifying session at least. Should be a dry race, I would assume. And let's see. Okay, so quite a few times in here right now. We got that guy Alex currently holding professional pole 132.4. Avi with a 132.6. He's about 2 tenths off. Zenjin there 133. Nassau still with his 133.6. Edge there 133.8. Hot Soldier 134.1 and Booker Bronco 159. Very horrible lap for him. We got RPR Chubb going 131.9. He is the fastest in the session so far. And let's see who else is out there. So currently Can Be Touch. He's running a hot lap right now. Just did a purple sector 1 and he's going through sector 2 right now. Let's see how he does finish his lap. Maybe be able to put himself up into the top 5 at least here. And that's a purple sector 2 for Can Be Touched. So let's see if this continues on through sector 3 and maybe he'll be taking away provisional pole from RPR Chubb there. Let's see if we can get into 1 minute 30 here at... Oh no, he's going back into the pit, so he probably messed that lap up. So he's going to have to try that again. We got Moti here. Let's see what he's going to be up to. I think he just did a purple sector 2 there and is still running. Locking up just a little bit to get around there, and let's see how he finishes sector 3. I think we got RP Amazing on a hot lap. He's currently running in sector 2. Now going to sector 3. Just did a purple sector 2 there as well. So let's see how he finishes on this lap. Just about maybe 4 or 5 drivers left. I think about 4 drivers left to make a lap time here for this qualifying session. Might be a little bit strange for them as they're used to having a full qualifying session on their Monday race. So JR Lactus goes 130.4, fastest lap of the session so far. So he's on provisional pole for the time being. We just under 10 minutes left in the session though, so actually still a lot of time for everyone to get another chance or two to get, a better lap time in. And this is our run up to turn 1 up the hill here at Austin, Texas. So a pretty interesting track for the US Grand Prix. Should be quite an interesting race as he goes through the S section here. All very difficult to maneuver through here without actually invalidating your lap, especially when you're doing it flat out, just to avoid losing any time chasing a car in front of you during the race. So we'll see how that goes. So it RP Amazing in 5th now, 132.9. Not too bad for him, but let's see. We got Johnny Stokes and Can Be Touched still yet to make lap times here. Can Be Touched, he did mess up his previous lap, so he's going to have to give that a go again. Johnny Stokes goes 133.2 into P7 for him. Not too bad at all. So let's see where we're at right now. So currently we have JR Lactus. He's currently holds a provisional pole 130.4. RPR Chubb in P2 currently with a 131.9. And we got the worst possible time we have right now is a 159.1 there from Booker Bronco. He is on another outlap to improve on that, so he's going to have to try and get a better time in here. And that guy Alex holding P3 right now, 132.4, and he's already on another outlap. He's going to try and improve upon that time to maybe keep himself in the top 3 for the start at least. as we got Can Be Touch going on his hot lap here right now. And he is in sector 2 going, so let's see how well he is able to finish this sector, and what kind of lap time will be expected to see here. Alright, so we got Can Be Touch. He just put himself up into P2 130.8. That's going to be a front row start for him. If he can actually keep that for the next 6 minutes that's remaining in this session here. But you know, a lot can happen in under 6 minutes. So let's see who's going to be improving upon their lap time here. As I think Alex is in sector 3 going around. Let's see if he's going to improve upon his time 132.4. Which was actually a good enough time to actually keep him in P3 just about 2 minutes ago, and now he's down to P7. So let's see if he's able to improve upon this, getting around the final chicane here now and on to the pit straight to go for the line, and let's see where that puts him. Up back to P4 now, 131.7. Does improve quite a bit and gets up there. We got Avi now in P3. RPR Chubb goes down to P5. Zenjin in P6 right now. I think he might be on another hot lap there as well. You got John with the worst possible time now, 152.9. They're really going to want to try and improve upon those times before the session is out. With just under 5 minutes remaining now, it's not just Q1, Q2, and Q3 it is to get over. This is going to be the one only qualifying session. Whatever position they get here is where they will be starting the race. So let's see how well they perform under such a situation here. I'll follow with Zenjin here. I think he is on a hot lap going here right now. RP Mason might be another lap there as well, as Asaf is currently on an out lap, so is Johnny Stokes. All trying to improve on their lap time to get a much better starting position here. Ooh, and Irez just invalidated his lap, so he's going to have to give that another go if he has enough time to get in and get back out again. I'm not sure. He might have to just push it right there just to go for another lap if he needs to. And Edge gets a 5-place grid penalty for illegally blocking another car, so that's definitely going to be hurting him. And he's currently in 12, which means he's going all the way down to the back of the grid for the start of the race. I don't think he's going to be too happy about that one there. Not even sure what happened in that situation there. Yeah, Johnny so seems to be on a pretty fast lap going through. We're just gonna stay on board with him as he goes around. Oh, when he does invalidate, so that's probably gonna be it for him unless he can make it around to go for another lap right there. Let's see if Asaf is on another hot lap going here or not. Probably trying to improve on his time over P7 here. Might be trying to get at least maybe into the top 4, top 3 for a better race start. And does get a better start. Goes up to P3 at 131.7. Pretty impressive time from him. As Avi is on another hot lap here as well. He's just entered into sector 2 of the track and going. Let's see if he's going to be able to get a better time in or not. That's going to be it for Avi there. It's a P4 start for him unless someone goes ahead in the next minute here or two. Got Alex on another out lap right now. Zengen might be on a hot lap going here. Let's have a look. Does seem to be. Let's have a look at him finish his lap to see if he's going to improve on his 131.9. Maybe put him a little bit higher up if he can. Just needs at least a few tenths to get a little bit up there. I'll say about 3 tenths should put him up into P3 if he's able to make that here. And does actually get it done just on as the timer finishes. 131.4 puts him up into P3 for the race start, and let's see if anyone else is able to go ahead of that time. Lactus is currently in sector 3. Let's see if he's able to finish better than a 130.4 on his time. Hopefully, hoping that no one beats him here. And does invalidate, so that's going to be it for him. And let's see if anyone else is currently running. I think Alex, oh, he just went way too wide on that. That's going to be it for him there as well. I think Perez might be the only car currently running on track. Let's see if he's on a hot lap or not. And I think he just did a better time. And where did he have? Is he in 9th, 132.8? So that puts him up there. I think that is going to be it for qualifying here. We're just waiting for that timer to run out. And that should be how our grid should line up. There are 16 cars for the race. It should be quite interesting for the USGP here. Alright, so that is it for qualifying. Let's see our race start, how the grid looks. GR Lactus takes pole position for P1 start. Can Be Touch goes P2, starting on the front row with GR Lactus there. Zengen in P3. We got Asaf taking 4th. Avi in 5th. Daga Alex 6th. We got RPR Chubb in 7th. RP Amazing 8th. We got Erez in 9th. Carlin 10. Johnny Stokes 11. Moti in 12. Edge in 13. We got Hot Sojo in 14. Booker Bronco in 15th. And we got John there in 16th. And Edge there having that 5 place grid penalty. That's why he is in 13 there. So that definitely is hurting his race start. Starting out at the top 10. Let's see if he's going to get a pretty good start on lap 1 and maybe make up for that bit of issue that happened in qualifying there. Race session seems to be fully dry, so it should be quite a good one here. Let's just wait for everyone to get their setups ready and we should get started. Alright guys, and they're off. Let's have a look and see who's getting better start here. Yeah, GR Lactus and Can Be Touched getting quite close together for the race start. Oh, and I think Asaf might have gotten just into a bit with them. So quite a bit of contact on turn 1 there. And let's get most of this off. I don't think we'll need all of that on track here. Someone just got across just to get in there, hopefully, and not illegally overtake there. We got a yellow flag in sectors 1 and 2 down at the back there. Asaf already with a penalty there. Can Be Touched is currently leading the race. Zengen there in 2nd. Now that guy Alex in 3. Avi 4th. Asaf in 5th. GR Lactus in 5th now. And we got Asaf there in 6th. Carl in 7th. We'll have a look at the position changes in just a bit, but let's have a look on how lap 1 is going to finish here. As I think our closest gap is Asaf's trying to chase down. Oh, and he's getting passed by GR Lactus. They're going up into 5th now. Everyone still is a bit close here. I think Can Be Touched is starting to build a gap out front. He's already 1.4 seconds out ahead. Zengen still trying to chase him down behind. Of course, he has Alex just behind in P3 to worry about there as well. And let's have a look what's happening out front with them here as they continue to go. And Avi 1.2 seconds behind in in 4th. Can Be Touched currently holds the fastest lap. That is the end of lap 1, going through on lap 2 of 28 now to go. On board with Alex here as he continues to chase Zengen around, just trying to get as close as he can to him to maybe challenge for P2. We got RPR Chubb getting very close to Edge here. Let's see if he's able to get an overtake done. He did lose maybe about a 10 there. Still actually pretty close as they go through that section of the track. Always very difficult to maneuver through, especially when you're chasing down another car, so you gotta just be careful not to get a penalty here, as the penalties will affect these guys down at the end of this session, so they're gonna want to be very careful about that. And let's just scroll through the field and see where our closest gap, which I think is currently Avi chasing down Alex for P3 here. GR Lactus is just about 1.2 seconds behind Avi there, as he did start in P1, had a pretty bad start, quite a bit of contact on turn 1 of the opening lap there. So might be a few incidents that are going to be investigated down at the end of the race, especially for drivers that did lose position because of them, or if anyone did take any damage. I'm not sure if any driver has any minor damage at the moment. We could possibly have that, but they might just be pushing through even with their damaged cars until they can get to a point of the race where they'll be able to take a pit stop and maybe just repair the damage at the same time. DRS has now been enabled, so that's going to be helping out quite a few cars, as we see a lot of cars are in DRS range right now. We got Edge there in 10th. He's getting pretty close behind Carl, trying to challenge him for a position. Can be touched, getting a 3-second penalty out front, and with a 2.1 second gap, he should be driving pretty well with the clean air out front, not being under too much of pressure, with Zengen about 2.3 seconds behind him. Of course, still a very difficult track here to drive, so some of these chicanes do force your hand just a little bit. We had Carl almost get past Engineer, was getting very close for a move to be done, but just lost it for just a little bit. Let's see who else is trying to get something. We got Booker Bronco just about half a second behind RP Mason down there at the back. He's trying to get by as well, but he does need to close that gap just a little bit more to actually get that going. We got quite a bit of a close gap down in front here with Jared Lactus and Avi currently running in fourth. I think Jared Lactus is really trying to chase him down. He's trying to get back out in front, where he was leading the race just as we got started, but just a few incidents at the start, and he's now down to 5th and trying to get back up there, but he seems to be working his way there, trying to break the gap down to Avi bit by bit. Of course, on lap 4 already of 28, a 50% race, so come to an end actually pretty quickly, especially when you're not too focused on how fast this race is going by. And we have Giolatis going up into P4 now as Avi goes down to P5. A pretty clean overtake, nicely done. And let's see, he's going to continue on now. I think Avi is going to be able to catch back up to him right away and get that move done. Alex is now going to be the next guy he's going to be trying to get by. But I think both of them are teammates, because if you have a look at the libraries on the cars. So let's see if Alex is going to let Giolactus go by. Let's see who is the faster driver here. And there is Can Be Touched with a 135 for fastest lap of the race so far. Of course, he does have that penalty, which he really needs to think about in terms of continuing this race, and might want to try not to get any more, as we don't have a lot of penalties handed out as yet. Just about 4 drivers currently holding penalties on track. Fortunately, we still do have all 16 drivers still in this race, and everyone's still going, so that's actually a pretty good sign. We didn't lose anyone from the start of the race. No safety car, no VSC, just a few yellow flags from the start up to this point on lap 5. So not too bad for a race start here for the US Grand Prix. And let's see, Zengen is now 4.4 seconds behind Can Be Touched. Can Be Touched seems to be gaining quite a bit of ground out there in front. Of course, does have the penalty, but Zengen is trying to get the gap under 3 seconds, which is what his aim is going to be once he knows that Can Be Touched has that one penalty, and he doesn't have one. He's going to want to try and keep as close as him to possible, just to go all the way to the end of the race in the same way, just to make sure he can automatically get P1 if everything does continue as it is right now. But Soju now takes a penalty as well as Erez, and I think between Erez and Carl there's something happening down in the back. Someone did switch positions, because Erez is now 8th, Carl in 9th, Jay in 10 there. We got, let's see who's coming down at the back. That is Etcher and Chubb down at the back. Chubb, I think, just got past Etcher there. He's up into 10th now. Now we're going to be chasing down Carl to get up into 9th. And let's see if he's able to get that done, as just half a second is what the gap currently is. As we can see, a few more penalties are being given out here as drivers keep racking them up. It's quite easy to get penalties on a track like for the US Grand Prix though, so drivers are going to just want to be a little bit careful as they can. As here in Austin, Texas, this track does prove to be a little bit difficult, especially certain portions with that S section of the track, and then they're in Sector 2 as well. That Edge getting very close to Chubb. Of course, Chubb is getting very close to Carl there as well. So a bit of a battle going down at the back here. As we have RPR Chubb about to get alongside Carl here. Takes it on the outside, and I think he's going to be getting that done pretty cleanly. Gets in front and holds the line up into P9. Carl is now down to P10. Perez is the next guy he needs to catch up to, which is about 2.2 seconds ahead of him. And that's going to be another position up for him if he's able to get that done. So far we got JR Lactus. He's gotten out into P3 there. Now his teammate Alex there down into P4. They might have pulled the switch while we were focused just down at the back there. So JR Lactus is now going to be heading out to catch up to the car in front of him, which is Zengen there, 3.3 seconds ahead. So Zengen is going to be under a bit of pressure in maybe a few laps time. Of course, we'll have pit stops coming up at some point pretty soon, maybe in the next 6 to 7 laps maybe, or maybe just a little bit more, depending on how much these guys are willing to push the soft tires that are on right now, which I think most cars are on the soft tires at the moment. But let's have a look at that and see. So, position changes. We said we would have a look at that, how positions did change during the race. And we have Carl there and Avi, only car to actually maintain their positions thus far, with quite a few cars gaining and quite a few cars losing, as usual and unexpected in a race. Stops, we only had Johnny Stokes and Hot Soldier pit stop so far. I think they took some damage young at the start of the race, which is why that had to happen. And Johnny Stokes went on to the hard tires. He might be pushing to the end. So did Hot Soldier there. I think he might be trying to push to the end, even on those tires as well, even that early on in the race. And everyone else running on the soft tires, so running a very similar strategy. I think when the pit stops happen, I think a few cars are going to try and go onto the medium tires, and some might actually go onto the hard tires here and just go to the end. I think our cars going onto the hard tires might take an earlier pit stop than those going onto the mediums, or these guys might just push your luck with it and take the mediums all the way to the end. And that pit stop window is now open for getting onto medium tires here and then pushing to the end, which would be about 20 laps on the mediums, I would say. And it seems to be a tall order to ask here for Pirelli tires, so maybe they might think about just doing a few more laps on the softs, if the softs can actually handle it right now, and then just switching on to mediums so they do get to be on the faster tire going down to the end. Penalties as they are, we got Canbito just for this 3-second penalty, a soft there 11 seconds. That's definitely going to hurt his race, as Moti has only 3 seconds, Erez 6, Carl with 3, Edge with 6, and Hot Soldier down the back wins it all with 12 penalties. So let's see what's going to change with that going down to the end of the race. Let's see, so Can Be Touched is still leading this race. We got Zengen now 7.3 seconds behind actually. What is happening to Zengen here? He's not catching up at all to Can Be Touched. Seems to be losing a few tenths each lap actually. And then JR Lactus there is now 2.4 seconds behind. He has him in view of his car there. Alex losing some time to his teammate there in P3, so he's on to P4 running still. Just keep trying to keep the gap under a second, I guess, to keep having DRS so as to not be too much under pressure from Avi there in P5, who's trying to keep his gap towards Alex there under a second as well, so he'll keep in the DRS range. Then we have a soft still running 6 there right now, going into the pits there right now, as his pit stop window has opened. And let's see what tires he is going to be choosing to go on here. And does look like he's going on to the mediums and serving a penalty in there as well. Got to be a 5-second penalty to be served. You're not allowed to serve a 3-second penalty, so that's going to be his probably one and only pit stop, as he just finished going on to the mediums, getting back out here now, coming back probably out in 10th, as RP Amazing is in there as well, and Booker Bronco might be behind him. So let's get back out in front and have a look. So Avi still under a second behind Alex, and Alex still under a second behind his teammate. We're trying to keep it under a second at least, as Edge is about half a second behind Booker Bronco and chasing him down. I think that might continue for just a while, as Zengen still seems to be losing more time, has lost at least a second since we were last time looking at his car there. So he's now 8.5 seconds behind. Can Be Touch is working overtime out in front, leading the race, trying to get away from everyone to save himself on this pit stop when he does get to it, because he just doesn't want that penalty to come and just affect his final race position down at the end here. He does want to win this race, so he's going to have to try really hard to keep things as they are right now, even after he makes a pit stop here. We got Carl still chasing around with RPR Chop in front of him. Let's see if that gap is going to go anywhere anytime soon. Now we got Zengen into the pits. Let's see what tires he's going to be choosing to go on here. He's going on to the mediums. And let's see who is up next in second now. It's JR Lactus moving up into P2 with his teammate Alex just behind him there in P3. Starting to learn these teams here now. And we got Avi there P4, 1.7 seconds behind. He has lost a bit of time to Alex there now, but Alex still keeping under a second behind his teammate, just trying to get the help of that DRS as he continues to follow him and get out front. They might be trying for a 1-2 finish here at Austin. Let's see if they're able to get that, though I'm not sure, because they have to catch up to Can't Be Touched, but JR Lactus is gonna try very hard and actually try and get that done. But let's see if he's able to. He has just over half of the race left to do this, and he might actually be able to get it done. Got another 18 laps left to go here. Let's see when our front few cars are going to do pit stops. We got Alex now with a penalty there as well. JR Lactus, no penalty of course. 10.4 seconds behind Can Be Touched. Having a very difficult time to catch up right now, but let's see if he's able to get that time done in the next few laps, or maybe something will change during the pit stops there. And we have Can Be Touched into the pits. So is JR Lactus and Alex there. So let's see what's gonna happen in here in the pit lane here now, because everyone should be getting out back pretty soon. We got Avi now leading the race, and let's see who is going in second. That's gonna be Moti there going second, as we got cars coming out of the pits. Zengen comes out of the pits in P3 with Can Be Touched just behind him, P4 now. So quite a change of order at the moment. So Can Be Touched, Perez in P5 behind him, and then Alex there P6. And I think JR Lactus might be held up in the pits, or maybe he was serving a 5-second penalty. I'm not sure. I didn't have a look at that, because he is now behind Alex, who was behind of him before the pit stops happened. Chubb now running P7, still has the pit. JR Lactus running just behind RPR. Chubb going side by side and does get past pretty cleanly and up into P7 now. So he's going to try and work his way back up the field, just getting a purple sector too, as Alex gets a penalty there now though, so that's going to affect him just a little bit, as Johnny Stokes is trying to get by here right now. And trying to go up into P10, takes the inside of that turn and does get it done pretty cleanly actually, no contact there. So good job on him for getting a very good overtake done there. Up into P10, edge it down to P11. And we got some pit stop action happening out front. Again, Moti in the pits as well as Avi there. Zengen now takes over the lead of the US Grand Prix with Can Be Touch taking it in second and still with that the penalty. And Alex now takes over P3. Gerlactus comes in for P4 right now. And continue behind him is Avi P5. Asaf there 6. Moti in the pits. Rez and RPR Chop currently in the pits. Starting to get out now is Moti coming out in 7th. And let's see who's next. Johnny Stokes takes over 8th place now. And gap between Zengen and Can Be Touch is now 1.4 seconds. Let's see how fast Can Be Touch is going to be able to catch up to Zengen here right now. Already gaining 10th. And let's see if that's going to continue on for the next lap or two, and if he's able to actually get by and take over back the lead of the race, or Zengen is going to be able to keep it here. Alex there running P3. He's 4.7 seconds behind Can Be Touched, and with Gerlactus just behind him. So let's see how this works out. On the medium tires, everyone, most of these cars I think should be on now. Let's just have a look at that, and yep, they are, except for RP Amazing there. He is onto the hard tires, and John went on to the soft tires. I'm not sure if he's still connected to his car or not. Let's have a look. Yeah, he does seem to be connected. I thought he might have had some trouble getting back on, but I think he was disconnected. Does seem to be fine though. Let's take back off our tires. Penalties are increasing just a bit. Hot Soldier there, 18 seconds of penalties, running in very close now to getting disqualified from the race for penalties. Now 21 seconds. He's going to have to be very careful about that. It is a very real thing to get disqualified from the race for having too many penalties. And there's Can Be Touched having the fastest lap of the race so far, chasing down Zengen, now under a second behind, and this is getting pretty close. So Zengen is under some intense pressure out there in front, running and leading a race P1. At least he would have led the race for quite a few laps before getting overtaken by Can Be Touched, which seems to be like it's going to happen pretty soon. That guy Alex is losing a bit of time, I think, to Can Be Touched. Still running in P3 though, has Gerlactus coming up in P4. Let's see if Can Be Touched is able to get by. He's now 1.5 seconds behind, losing a few tenths. Zengen might be trying to fight back right now, trying to keep the lead of the race. We're on lap 13 going, so has about 15 laps left in this session here right now. Edge there under a second. We got Gerlactus switching now with that guy Alex there. So they're once again doing that. And that puts Gerlactus up into P3. And Alex there down into P4. RP Amazing getting another 3-second penalty. Going down to Edge here. He's chasing down Carr. Let's see if he's able to get by. Trying to get a better exit off of the turns. He's trying to take it on the outside, and cutting it a bit close here as going right behind Carl now. Let's see on the run down to the next turn. Has the DRS enabled, and that might actually help him get by pretty cleanly. Goes up into P12, puts Carl down into P13 now, and they're going to continue on. We're on lap 14 right now, just hitting the halfway point of the United States Grand Prix. Pretty exciting race even from the start coming. We had a bit of contact between quite a few cars going up the hill on turn 1 on the opening lap, causing some minor incidents with Gerlactus losing out on the lead of the race, getting down a bit. Can Be Touched taking it over. Did get a penalty. Currently with pit stops, first round the pit stops happen. First and only round I think for most cars happen. We now have Zengen leading the race with Can Be Touched just getting about half a second behind him. So we're going to go back out front and have a look on how that battle is progressing as Can Be Touched is going on the inside. And let's see if he's able to get this done. I think Zengen is fighting it back. I don't think there was any contact, but Zengen still holds the lead of the race. I think he's trying to fight it really hard right now. Has about 14 laps more to do this if he wants to win the US Grand Prix here right now, because if Can Be Touched does get past, he's going to have to prevent him from building a gap to make sure he can still win this, because Can Be Touched has that penalty Of course, that proved to be very difficult when they were both running on the soft tires on the opening stint of the race. So I don't think Zenjin wants to take the chance of having Can Be Touched go ahead of him unless he really has to. So I think he's going to be really fighting this until the very last moment that he has to just let Can Be Touched go by and just run it in second. Try to keep it under 3 seconds behind his car. So he still automatically gets P1. But let's see where the penalties are at. If it's still a 3-second penalty here. And yes, it is still a 3-second penalty for Can Be Touched. So that's the kind of time Zenjin's gonna. Oh, and Zenjin gets a penalty now, evening out the playing field. So he's gonna have to be a little bit more careful. I don't think he there at any point is gonna want to let Can Be Touched go by here. But with the help of that DRS and using the overtake, I think it's inevitable, as it's about to happen here right now. We got Zenjin losing out on the lead of the race, going down to P2. Can Be Touched going back up into P1. I think Zenjin knew this was just a matter of time before this happened, but he did stick it out and try to fight it to keep it in P1. Of course, didn't fight it so hard that, you know, he lost out on P2. He's still running in P2. Of course, he has Girolactus coming up behind him. He's 3 seconds behind. So let's see if he's going to be able to catch up and challenge for P2 on the race here. Of course, Girolactus there does not have a penalty as well. Neither does Avi or Johnny Stokes. And we got Carl, Hutsoju, and John as well, all without penalties at the moment. A lot of drivers with penalties, as Booker Bronco, I think, just got a penalty there. Might have been his first, I'm not sure. No, I think he did have a penalty before. So we're going to continue on here now. Zenjin is still under a second, starting to lose a few tenths now, as I think Asaf is about to go by Alex there, but Alex is getting into the pit, so he goes up into P5 now. And Alex is doing a front wing change. Did take some damage, battling it with someone. Might have been with a software. I'm not 100% sure on that at the moment. As we got, I think, Chubb and Erez switching positions there. Now Chubb goes up into P8. That's Erez down into P9. I'm not quite sure if he's going to be able to challenge back for the 8th position here, but let's see what he tries to do or not. About half a second behind already. Girolactus is now up just behind Zenjin, about half a second behind, so we're going to switch on over to that and see how that battle is progressing with P2, P3 here, as I think Girolactus might be actually want to challenge for P2 here. I don't think he's going to be happy with just P3. Especially with not having a penalty. I'm quite sure he's about to go for it, as now half a second just behind Zenjin, so he's going to be in DRS range and have his overtake to use. Seems to be getting a pretty clean overtake done, as Zenjin now falls back into P3, and that Can Be Touched with another 3-second penalty out in front, so that's 6 seconds of penalties for him. Girolactus 1.9 seconds behind Can Be Touched, who's currently leading the race and does not have a penalty. Stands a very good chance of winning the US Grand Prix here today if he can continue this all the way down to lap 28. Edgeheader taking another 3-second penalty now. And that gap is still under a second between Zenchen and Geralactus, but let's see. Geralactus is starting to pull away by a tenth every at least quarter of a lap here. Getting on board with Zenchen here right now. Let's see what he's up to and how close Geralactus is able to get to Can Be Touched out in front here in P1. He's 1.4 seconds behind Can Be Touched. Let's see how much time he gains by the end of lap 18 going to lap 19 here. And now in 1.2 seconds. And Geralactus has gotten his gap to under a second. He's trying to break it down even further. I think it's the closest gap we have at the moment on track. On lap 18 right now, just about 10 laps left to go, as we'll be heading into lap 19 here very shortly. And that's Hot Soju with 10 seconds of penalties for exceeding track limits. How much penalties does he have right now? And that is 47 seconds of penalties. How many seconds do you need to get disqualified? I'm not sure, but I think he's cutting it pretty close. And that's 57 seconds of penalties now. And that's it, disqualified from the session. I think might have just racked up too much penalties. So Hot Sojo is out of this race, not for crashing or causing any incidents, just for getting too many penalties. So I guess he was in a battle with the track itself, and I guess the track won. So Hot Sojo is out of the session, and we are now left with 15 drivers in. Johnny Soak's taking a 3-second penalty there. Geralactus and John there, only cars currently without any penalties at all as they continue to go on. We still got Geralactus under a second behind Can Be Touched, running on lap 19. The lap time here is not pretty long, just about a minute and a half, so we're about to go straight into lap 20 here now. I would assume with just about 8 laps remaining to go, 9 laps I would say. Let's run it at 9 laps at the moment. And Edge there getting very close to RP Mazing there in 11. Let's keep an eye on that and see if he's able to challenge for that position, as Johnny Stokes was getting very close to Chubb. Let's see if he's able to get anything done. I'm not sure. Still got Geralactus still chasing around Can Be Touched on track, still trying to get up to a position here. Sorry about that, guys. I had to step over for just a second as we just missed Geralactus going by Can Be Touched, getting up into P1 now, getting back the lead of the race. Can Be Touched is still just under a second behind him, but I highly doubt he's going to be able to catch up back right away, as he already seems to be losing a few tenths getting behind. Let's see if he's going to be able to keep himself in the RS range and be able to challenge back for the lead of the race. Zengen running P3 right now, 3.1 seconds behind Can Be Touch here. Let's see if he's able to still finish on the podium here though. As we're currently on lap 21 and going. Still got Johnny Stokes there. He's still trying to chase down RPR Chubb for P7. Trying to keep it under a second at least and going. Hopefully, well, I think these penalties are definitely going to affect a lot of things coming down to the end of the race. With JR Latas has no penalties, so he's been running an excellent race throughout, especially with John there as well, even though he's on down there in 15. And I think Can Be Touch is trying to challenge back JR Latas here right now. Got very close to doing it. Hopefully gets a DRS and might help him get a little bit closer and maybe get the position up. Does have just a few laps remaining to do this, as they're still fighting it out, just about 0.3 of a second between the two of them. And let's see if Can Be Touch can get this done, as he's really trying hard to look for a gap to go on here right now. Zengen is just about 3.6 seconds behind these guys and coming, just trying to hold on to P3 right now. He has about 12 seconds for the gap between him and the car behind. That's Avi and P4, which is a bit of time to work with there. For him, we got Moti under a second behind Asaf, trying to get up just a little bit, just maybe to challenge for one more position up. And we still got Johnny Stokes behind RPR Chubb under a second. That gap still is, as the two of them continue to race around here. I think Can Be Touch is somehow finding a little bit more performance out of his car, and he think he's going to be pushing like this to go all the way down to the end of the race and try as much as he can to maybe get P1, or maybe just force Girolactus into a few mistakes. Hopefully gets more penalties than what Can Be Touch has, and maybe hopefully he can get the race win still. We can all just hope, but let's see if Girolactus is going to get any penalties down at the end of the race or not. There, as for John as well, let's see if he's going to be able to finish without having a single penalty. It would be something to accomplish here if they can actually get that done, because with every driver having penalties there and having one driver out of the race who has been disqualified for having too many penalties. I think this is possibly our closest gap, except for with Moti there. He's getting about half a second behind Asaf, and now losing the time a bit. Gonna go on board for just a bit with Can Be Touch and see what the action is between him and Girolactus out in front, leading the race here right now. Zengen has lost a few tenths, as he's now 4 seconds behind Can Be Touch. Still has 12 seconds to the car behind him, so I think he's not too upset about that. He's still gonna be on the podium here. And let's just have a look back at penalties and to see if he stands a position to get P2 here, which with Can Be Touch having 6 seconds and Zengen only having 3 seconds, I think he is getting very close to the possibility of getting a potential P2 finish for this race, but I think he's going to have to keep it under 3 seconds for that gap that he currently has, and it's currently increasing, which Can Be Touch is might be trying to do as well, because he's going to be thinking about that at the same time chasing around Girolactus out in front. He needs to keep a gap of over 3 seconds so that he doesn't lose P2 at the moment here. Of course, for 6 seconds, I think he might be still losing this, but let's see how that works out. Either way, we're going to have a look at how many penalties each driver gets down at the end and how it does affect the race as someone is just getting off track, getting out of the way. I think that's a blue flag. Getting out of the way there with 10 seconds for RP Amazing, exceeding track limits there. I'm quite sure I knew what he just did. He just drove across the track there. I think that's what Hot Soldier did at least twice. And that racked him up about 20 seconds of penalties when he did it. Currently running on lap 24 here right now. We might have a few position changes down at the back there, from what I can tell. Getting back down to 10, we got Alex chasing down Erez right now. He's about under a second behind, half a second behind. Let's see if he's able to get up into P9 right now, running in P10 and gaining right now through the S section. And I think these penalties are going to be affecting race positions down at the end more than anything here. But let's see if Alex is able to get past Erez, and if Can Be Touched is able to get past Lactus there before the end of this race, which is in about 3 laps time, as we're on lap 25 right now ongoing. Following on with Alex right now, he's getting pretty close to Erez. And we got Booker Bronco down in the back. He's trying to keep a gap of under a second behind Carl, who is currently running in 13. Yeah, 12, sorry. And getting another penalty, so that's not going to help him there as well. Can Be Touched is doing a pretty good job, I would say, of keeping his gap of to the car in front under a second. Of course, still very hard to get a gap to get an overtake done, even with such a close gap between two cars. You can be between 0.3 of a second as they are right now and still have a very hard time to get an overtake done. That's Chop with a 3-second penalty there, as Alex is getting very close and then losing back at 2/10 at least. And RP Amazing is out of the race. A DNF from him. Not sure what's happened to his car there. No yellow flags on track. So maybe just retired in the pits, or maybe just went off on the track and just crashes somewhere where it's not affecting the race at all. And was now running on lap 26, as we still have Alex chasing down Rez here. Gap getting very close at some points during the lap, and then just going back out a few tenths again. Locking up his front left quite a bit. And Can Be Touched has lost a bit of time there right now. His gap is now over a second to GR Lactus there. As we're coming down to the end of the race very fast at this point here right now. Just very limited time left for anyone to try and get overtake done. In the midfield there, quite a bit of few gaps are just over seconds. RPR Chubb is now under a second behind. Moti there trying to chase him down for P6. Let's see if he's going to be able to get that done before the race comes to a close, as Erez has been forced to get another penalty here for getting under a bit of pressure from Alex just behind him, as that seems to be an overtake in the works. Oh, and Alex might have lost a few tenths there with that, just getting a bit unbalanced with the car. And that gap is now over a second. Getting back out in front, we got Can Be Touched is still now back under a second behind GR Lactus, still chasing him down on lap 27 we go racing right now, and just about a lap and a half remaining in this session here. We still have the only cars without any penalties, JR Lactus and John there, still running with 0 penalties. Let's see if they can continue that for 1.5 more laps just to finish this race and keep it that way. It will be more of a feat for JR Lactus there, finishing on pole position for the race and not having a single penalty. We got Alex getting back under a second as well behind Erez there, still trying on that. So gonna have a look at that for just a bit before we come to the end of the final lap. We're gonna get back to JR Lactus there and Can Be Touched to see what's happening with these two, as Alex is getting a bit out of sorts at some point, when he gets too close to Erez. He's trying to avoid damage right now and risk losing that 10th position there. And we've just entered, our race leader has just entered into the final lap of this race right now. This might take some late braking if he really wants to push it here. I don't think he will though. Ooh, and a little bit late braking. A bit of minor contact probably between the two of them, but Irez still holds on to P9 and Alex still continues with P10. That gap is pretty close, a bit of a minor contact between the two of them. So running on the final lap with these two guys here. Now this is going to be their last chance to get this done. If they're even thinking about getting it done here, they're going to have to decide right now what's going to happen. If Erez is going to keep defending against Alex here from getting by. And we get Can Be Touched and JR Lactus out in front. They're fighting it, going all the way to the finish line here as well. And that's Erez with another 3-second penalty, which is going to help Alex there, even if he doesn't get ahead. I think with the penalties, he might just be going up a bit. But I think quite a few positions are going to change as JR Lactus takes pole position for the race win. We got Can Be Touched going in P2. And we got Zengen coming about 12 seconds behind. He is going to be falling in line in P3 at the moment. And let's see if penalties are going to affect him. I'm not so sure it will. And let's keep it on penalties there. So Alvi goes P4. And we got RPR Chub. He should be coming around for P5. So JR Lactus takes the race win. Can Be Touched in P2. And Zengen, final car to be on the podium there. Alvi takes P4. RPR Chub is coming around for P5. Asaf there definitely going to be losing out, I think. Maybe losing out one position to Moti. Let's see if that's going to be so. Yes, it does switch. Moti goes P6. RPR Chop takes P5. Asaf goes P8 for now. Johnny Stokes goes P6 now. Moti goes down to 7. Let's see where Alex goes. He goes P9. Erez goes P10. Edge coming around. He is with 15 seconds of penalties. And let's see if he's going to be going in 11th or if he is able to push Carl ahead away. I don't think he will though. I think he might be taking his 11. Carl takes 12. Booker Bronco 13. And John will take 14. RP Amazing in 15. Hutsojo 16 there because they did not get to finish the race. And I think that's going to be it for that session there. So just waiting for Edge and Booker Bronco to cross the finish line here now. And here comes Edge. He goes across the line 11th. And that's going to be it. Still going to wait for our results table to get up. And then that's going to be the end of it. Driver of the day goes to Johnny Stokes. Wouldn't say I disagree with that. Did a pretty good drive here today. So good job on him, and congratulations to JR Lactus for taking pole position for United States Grand Prix. And there we have it, guys. GR Lactus takes the win. P1 can be touched. P2 Zengen finishes the podium with P3. Then Avi there in P4. Oh, and GR Lactus gets fastest lap 134 as well. We got RPR Chop P5, Johnny Stokes P6. We got Moti P7, Asaf P8, Alex in 9th, Erez in 10th. We got Edge there 11, Carl 12, Booker Bronco goes 13, John 14. We got RP Amazing 15, Hot Sojo 16. Many of them had a chance to finish the race there. Either way, excellent race today from Rapid Pixel Racing, even though we did have to do a short qualifying session and then get to the race instead of running a 30-minute practice with our full qualifying session and the race session 50%. But things should be getting back to normal on the next session there. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us. Do leave the video a like and join us again for the next race coming up later on.